and that is, something that Mirko is indeed trying to get out of there in the air. But now, as we take a look at the drafting phase presented by the official tournament smartphone, Samsung Galaxy A55 and A35 5G. And of course, two bans, the Hylos and the Hayabusa taken out, and the chip as well with the Ling to counter Super Ken. But now the Hylos, I've been thinking about this hero as a strong laning hero for Chorizo. But now the Hylos taken away. What do you think is going to be a suitable laning hero for Chorizo?
Immediately the Phobius comes to mind, but there's no way. Dewa, actually, I might have spoken too soon. They left the Phobius open. There are other options available as well, but Bigetron, I don't see why they wouldn't go for it. The Sushin, by the way, is still open as well as the Zask. So technically Dewa can get one of those prior quote-unquote mage heroes and something in return. But for Bigetron, that's Phobius in the hands of Luke. We just talked about getting a strong laner for Chorizo. I don't know who can really match up against the Phobius right now.
Yeah, we talked about a few counters that do come to mind, but sometimes it's so hard to really just stop and freeze this Phobius. What do you think is a good pick against the Phobius?
Whoa. Well, I was about to say, usually when you see a Phobius, you want to pick up a Vexana, but they go for the Edith, they counters the Harith, and the Harith in the first phase. This gives Bigetron Alpha an opportunity to just go for the Lunox, because yes, most teams go for the Lunox just to beat out the Harith. The thing about Bigetron Alpha is they can actually flex the Lunox. We've seen Moreno on this Lunox, I think 2 or 3 times. So if they pick the Lunox here, that's another flex pick they can utilize. And obviously it comes through with the Nolan as well. So they have an assassin in the jungle that deals physical. They have that magical damage. It can be flexed into mid or gold, both doing great, depends on the matchup. I think they will need to go. See, this is why the Nolan's great too. If they go for the Vexana, it'll definitely give Kaze a bit of PTSD when he didn't flicker out of that fracture. So they end up going for the Alpha.
Oh, old scars. Just trying to hunt over Kaze, but they go for the Alpha, and the Lunox again, so flexible, able to be put in there in the mid lane or the gold lane, and the Nolan, a staple hero for Super Ken as well. Second bans coming in for both teams. As the Alpha picked up, I think it'll go for the to the jungle. Most probably. So now, Bigetron, what do they really think of to complete this draft? And for Dewa United, how do they want to address this Phobius?
I'm not sure, man. I mean, like Mirko mentioned, the Vexana becomes a great solution, good lockdown, good AoE, and it's still safe against the Nolan to a degree, but we've seen the exact scenario, right? Vexana against the Nolan, then taken out. So for Dewa, they actually begin with the Valentina, so they're convinced that this Lunox will go into the gold lane. Maybe they intend to force it there, but for Bigetron, Vexana banned out. And technically, if they're concerned about crowd control, I don't know. I guess for Dewa, something like a Tsushin can really help out with this forward dive kind of situation. Maybe Bigetron can respect that.
Yeah. I think other than that, though, for Dewa, I feel like for now, the fact that they banned the Valentina, it sets up for 2 things. It could be a setup for a Faramis pick that could be great with this composition, or the Tigreal to really punish the Nolan. I think the Tigreal is going to be a bit tough to pull off, though, knowing that Lunox can get away, also the Phobius can get away. Here, we got some cross-region data.
For Chip, still holds 100% ban rate across 3 regions throughout MPL PH, MPL ID, and MPL Malaysia. So yeah, we don't see this little cute thing roaming around the map and opening up teleports.
He's cute. He's not cute. In-game, he's not cute.
In-game, he's not cute.
Horrifying.
He's an absolute menace in the game, so no Chip just yet. I wonder if any team will be able to kind of force teams to let go of that chip. So far, none can really do that. But all right, for Bigetron, final ban right here. Is it going to be yet another mid laner? Technically, Bigetron has the flex potential to play around with. But Dewa, after banning away that Ruby, I guess they're really concerned about the big crowd control tool still. But like you mentioned, Mirko, the Faramis is still on the table. And if Dewa has already banned the Valentina, do they want to pick it up for themselves too?
Yeah, Faramis still open to really out-sustain the fights. And it's going to be a Mathilda ban targeted towards Mueza now. Of course, Faramis, one of the strongest heroes for Kaze as well. They can pick it up right now. And without the, appearance of Valentina, who is, a hero that Moreno really likes, I think the Faramis is going to be a very great answer towards the dive comp from Bigetron Alpha. The Lunox, the Nolan that can really jump into your face, the Phobius as well. Really want to dive in to the backline. The Faramis is a good option.
Yeah, they can still go Zosk too for Bigetron Alpha, right? So it's really just if Dewa pick up the Fair Miss, it's going to be a lot of value for their composition. It also technically just counters the Zas that can be picked up by Bigetron Alpha after revealing the Fair Miss. I think this is good though for Dewa. If they pick up the Fair Miss, they flex the Edith all the way to the end, and that could give the opportunity for Mr. Chorizo, Mr. Muscle, as we call him here in Indo, a chance to maybe go for a Paquito, go for the split push. But they go for the Juicin. Okay.
All right. Sushin, as predicted, it can be a great tool right here. We'll see if the crowd control, the lifts of the Lantern Flare can be enough to control the Phoveus. And it's one of the safer laners that can kind of have a built-in flicker technically against both the Lunox and the Nolan. Not a bad choice at all. For Bigetron though, now they know that Dewa are gonna be walking forwards here. Something to really punish that with a combo can work out.
Among the planes
Grok
exists the
and Yve, of course.
Wow.
You really want to outrange the Zusin. The Zusin is very safe as a laner, and I think the Yve might be able to outrange and outpoke the Zusin, but again, you know, so much control coming from the Zusin. Either the shielding and the lift off as well. So confirmed, the Lunox will go in the hands of Iman.
They're going to double down on the team fighting here. Hovering over to Rizla. No Paquito for Chorizo, no split push style. They want to still play the team fight, neutral objective game.
Yeah. Ooh, I think it's quite dangerous though for Dewa, man. Bigetron, they have the advantage of having the Grok that now can be lifted up by the Tsushin as easily. So for them, they can move around like that. They can have the Yve to scout out, and when it comes down to it, they have got great ways of kiting backwards, aside from the Phoveus, of course. So for Dewa, I think they can go all in, but when Bigetron finds one person, they have greater ways to really chunk him down, burst him down, or at least poke around before committing for a full-on fight. And I think that flexibility is a dangerous tool in the hands of a team like Bigetron, but the counter index and the lineup rating does favor Dewa United. So let's see, man, what can they get with this? They have great team fighting tools, but when it comes down to it, they have to make sure that the clearing of the waves also can be matched in order to get in the right place at the right time to beat Bigetron in those skirmish situations.
And leg number one, the gods were basically test samples for the red robots. Will this time around they project their wrath, or will they once again falter? It is Bigetron Alpha against Dewa United. Leg number two, game number one.
It's not every day you get to see the Juicin and the Zas get ignored in the first phase, but you see it here in week 6 of MPL ID. Perhaps both these teams have found a way to counter those two picks in scrims, but man, it's both junglers actually opting to rotate towards the top side of the map. You can already see Eman on the winning matchup here, utilizing this as a strong side to bully Azura.
Yeah, I mean, Lunox is a lane counter towards the Harith, but how do you think it'll fare late game?
The Lunox in the late game?
Yeah.
I think it's a great option as well, technically, against even the front line. It's a roam Terrorista coming here for the side of Dewa. So in the late game, he's going to be susceptible to getting bursted down by that Chaos Order. Emblems by IndieHome here, as we have some time, tenacities for the side of Dewa. They know they want to go all in, they want to go for fights. Even the firmness, but look at Eman, who forced the flicker away already. He's running the Master Assassin as well, which is why Mueza is trying to be active and ruin that laning phase.
A lot of damage placed down. Actually, might be a kill. Mueza not going to use the flicker. Wants to save it for the next neutral objective. Super Luke at the bottom lane getting ganked. But it does seem like he should be okay unless Ray decides, no, he used the Spear of Alpha earlier.
Oh, too early for the Body of Smith to pop, and Mueza just melts in the hands of Supercan. That is going to be a very important kill to get the Nolan going.
Supercan can get snowballing is quite risky. In theory, there's not a lot of targets for Dewa United, but Supercan,
That's gonna be fine.
Yes, I was saying, there's a lot of targets for Supercan to try and deny, but later on, the Nolan, if he gets snowballing, he can kind of burst down even the tank, so Dewa has to be careful here.
It's gonna be problematic for them as they take a look at the turtle, and this is going to be a very strong fight. Key will open up.
Yeah, real world glitch comes down. Supercan winning on the retreat battle, but get caught by the Spear of Alpha. Still though, fighting within the real world manipulation. Super Luke has level 4. Dewa tried to gamble with Chorizo being level 3, and it did not pay off. Now they're chasing Dewa under the tier 1. Iman has the Chaos, jumps in. The wild charge not able to connect, but it doesn't matter. Iman picks the kill up onto Mueza, and it's a win for Bigetron Alpha.
The clear speed, the level advantage is what Bigetron was able to use right there. And for Dewa, going in all in, fighting in the real world manipulation. I mean, we haven't seen the Yves in so long. I'm glad to see it in the hands of Moreno. But that first fight was so ideal, man. He got a full channel, dropping down the damage, raining it down on Dewa United. And it does AoE technically. Dewa, if they want to go for these skirmishes, have to go for the right person, the right people. Eman can go invulnerable with the blessing, the blessing order, but they have to make sure that Moreno gets put in check, gets kept on check, because otherwise the damage output can be even higher than the Lunox. Because you remember, everyone's clumped up, and Yves has all AoE in her kit.
Yeah, RWM is also a very good zoning tool to be used in the team fights. As Super Luke and Cerezo not sharing that much of an action on bottom, just trying to trade blows left and right. But Bigetron Alpha, they have been very solid in the global response to the needs and the skirmishes happening. As we take a look at talent predictions by the new application, Go Pay, unanimous decision for Bigetron Alpha, except for Lim Kochel, who is basically cosplaying Papulung today.
But Lim Kochel showing up right here. As always, he has a soft spot in his heart for Dewa. But they certainly are struggling right here. Wild charge!
With the Chaos, Moez are going to go in with the penalty zone, but Azura has been zoned away and not dealing enough damage. Flickers out to safety. Now goes into Brilliance. Super Ken can go for it. No! Penalty zone on Moeza. No flicker. Ken just assassinates him, and Azura can't do anything now with the usage of the Zaman Force earlier. He can just watch as BTR push in. They're even going to start the turtle.
Umino on the other side, Super Luke against 3, against 2, no issue, just walking forward. No other ways to burst.
Okay, stop! Unfortunately, he has Purified. That caster POV did nothing. It's also an active skill, but you can't really get out of the Nolan Fracture, can you? Oh no! Cerezo getting destroyed by his X-Team as Super Ken just takes the turtle for free. Up top, it's a 1v1, Eman forcing Azura to utilize the Zaman Force defensively. Now Moeza putting some damage back on towards Eman, has a Brilliant still. Key has the wild charge as he decides to go for it. Good knock up, the Purified Moreno from the side, getting the kill. 7-1 to BTR.
Bigetron has been very good in the skirmishes, and they say history repeats itself. And I feel like it is going to be the case here. Feels like it's a leg one game all over again.
Well, especially the mid lane here for Dewa, you can see Moeza struggling to just rotate. And even though, in theory, the Theresa can help out with the clearing, right now for Bigetron, it's just so much cleaner. You get in the mid lane, you go with the power of nature, and Yves will spam out a Void Blast, a Void Crystal, and they walk, and they roam around. You can see that Case is stuck in the mid lane for a long period of time, but now pulling Luke back.
By the way, Luke went Flicker this game. I just realized.
Oh, yeah, Flicker Phobius, not the vengeance that we're used to, but maybe he wants that extra bit of maneuverability, because we talked about how he can't really move backwards, but Key...
Oh, he has the wild charge! Goes in on the 2 Super Luke now.
Good barrier!
The follow-up, the penalty zone locks Key down, but he still has the power of nature. Moeza going with the hammer down, but the Infernal Pursuit into the back means that Super Ken has all the room possible. He just going for the fracture! And Man gets Moeza 2 and Ray just running for the hills. Azura, good dodge from that skill 2 of the Phobius. But they can't react to any of the Red Robot plays.
Dewa United they're just outmaneuvered by Bigetron Alpha. Clamping up together, looking to respond on the engages coming in from Dewa United, and they're able to win on the fights. I mean, Super Ken is 4-1, so is Eman, 2 kills to his name. It's going to be very, very hard of a hill for Dewa United to climb back up.
It's going from bad to worse right here, because Super Ken does not have to do anything too crazy. He can just stay in the front and just fracture whoever's taking some damage, staying in the front right there. And the fact that Case is always so close to the front as a short-range, mid-range mage means that it's so easy for Super Ken to get his hands on him. And you can see that Cerezo is trying to do the cut, the roam. But for Bigetron, with the Nolan, immediately you see Super Ken win out in that fight and dash all the way straight, clears the mid lane, clears the bottom lane, extending the gold and EXP lead even more, and ensuring that Dewa don't get any trades for it.
Yeah, Super Ken, as easy as ABC, he gets the turtle, but a Super Luke looking to charge in.
Jumping into the midst of it all, getting the knock-up again in for the pursuit. T! El Momento finding the wild charge. The penalty zone used defensively. Super Ken banged in again, but he's still able to dodge away. Now Eman coming in with the chaos. And the Brilliance under the turret. Moreno with the flicker forward too. Bigetron Alpha got 3 on the board. And Dewa can't get anything back.
They just don't have any damage. No real burst damage at all. It's all DPS. Super Ken going for a duel in the base. And Azura is just forced to accept it. They can't clear, and they just don't do enough damage. I mean, Moreno flickered forwards between turrets right there just to secure more kills. There's no way for Dewa to really threaten any real all-in, because at this point, Bigetron knows that the Phobias, the Grok, are just way too tanky. Even if Key or Super Luke gets taken out, they were going to pay a hefty price for it, and that's a trade that Bigetron are most definitely willing to make. The fact that their jungle is also a fighter and not an assassin means that, again, it's all DPS, right? You can see Ray doing damage, but it doesn't come out all at once.
Yeah. Termination and Obliteration is the name of the game for Bigetron Alpha. They have been so strong, 12-1, and it's still the 8th minute as Mueza purchases a Queen's Wings to really just mitigate the damage, but it can't really happen in an instant. I mean, Bigetron Alpha, they're able to just burst down the players of Dewa United.
And I'd say, when we look at the compositions, Dewa's composition falls off more than Bigetron, right? Bigetron have the Eve and the Lunox, so
Yeah.
even if they do get to the late game, this actually still favors BTR.
The only real big scaler there maybe is Sorizo on the Edith, but even then, the Phobias doesn't really fall off either. The Super Luke now running away. Not really. See, it's Dewa. They can't really threaten anything. Luke wasn't even moving around like he was threatened, like he was prepared to escape. He just stands there.
Yeah, we haven't been able to see engages coming in either, the Spear of Alpha or the penalty zone, but he, again, just being in the front line. And so far, this Lord, will it be uncontested by Dewa United? I don't think they have the capabilities to just enter the pit, and it's going to be free for Bigetron Alpha.
Unless they can really burst down Luke or Key, there's no point in walking up like that. They're gonna output their damage and their resources onto the Roamer, the EXP laner, and then that's where the jumps come in from Super Luke. The wild charge comes in from Key, and they lose 3 or 4 members. It's almost like at this point, that's the best they could do. Just look for info and defend. And with a Sushin of all things, to clear the waves, it's gonna be so difficult and so dangerous for Keys in this game. So Bigetron, let's see what they can do with the first Lord right here. They still have all the control, and they're really just locking Dewa into their own base.
That's a 9-minute level 15 Nolan too, so I mean,
Yikes.
they're trying to beat the clock at this point. They have already done it, 10,000 in 9 minutes.
I mean, it's one of the heroes that can really get snowballing early on, but
Oh, yeah.
15,
Oh,
level
fuck.
15 in minute 10 is so
Holy Crystal?
crazy. And the Holy Crystal purchase coming in from Emanis, the Luminous Ice Wall for Key now. So take a look at a siege coming in. Chorizo has to pop the Primal Wrath.
And the Flicker. 2 massive resources already burnt out, and look at how Bigetron have been able to utilize this wave in the bottom lane. They're just slow pushing it so that the Holy Crystal will deal with the Lord, but then the next wave will be coming in for them to siege.
All right, now they're pushing up, and you can see Dewa kind of struggle. Key is already forced to back away.
Yeah.
First target for the side of Bigetron, and they're going to be looking for more.
Defensive Crimson Beacon. They already don't have the Primal Wrath, no Flicker on Chorizo, they have no engage. Yeah, Mueza can go in, but then there's not going to be any follow-up. That's 2 base turrets taken down by Bigetron Alpha. And Dewa can't do anything. Super Luke picks up the War Axe as an offensive build. Key gets brought back, but really, there is no threat of this Rock dying. He is what? Ray, try to go for the combo there. Super kill the fracture. Now no Crimson Beacon. And the back to Wild Charge gets them all under the base. And now with Luke finally dying, Moreno pops in a real world manipulation and survives because of it. The shielding. BTR. They've taken every member down except for Ray. Can they end it in the 11th minute? There's no waves to play with. Ray has a Spear of Alpha, and Mon decides to go for the Brilliance, and it baits him out. BTR making quick work out of Dewa United. Now all 3 on the base. 1-0, 17-3.
A tale as old as time. And Leg 2 doesn't see its repairs and fixes from Dewa United. They're able to take down Dewa in under 15 minutes. And with a flawless game like that,